Very good afternoon, wonderful gathered here. A special word of welcome to Dr. Nesman Rio from Christ University, Bengaluru. Kindly stand up for the prayer song. Join with us for the prayer song, followed by the college song. Thank you. Please be seated. Now I invite Dr. Sophia, Professor, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, to welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all for this education session on MongoDB. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our respected principal, Dr. D. Paul Dayavan, sir, who is a great source of support. I'm very happy to welcome our beloved HOD, Dr. J.G. Sathyaseelan, sir, who is always encouraging, supporting, and inspiring. I welcome our resource person, Dr. Nesman. Nesman is working as an assistant professor in the Department of, in the School of Computer Science, Christ University, Bangalore. His research interests are route optimization and mobile ad hoc networks, Internet of Things, and other wireless related technologies. He received his PhD Computer Science and MPhil from our college. He has published 22 research papers in national and international conferences and journals. He has achieved 5 patents in the field of communication technology, and he has contributed 2 Springer book chapters. It's very, I draw immense pleasure in welcoming you, Nisman, for this afternoon session on MongoDB. We're very delighted to have you here in our midst. I am also very happy to welcome our staff members, Dr. D. Kirbai, Dr. C. Satish Kumar, Dr. Bhuvaneshwari, for this event. I also welcome you all students for this session, for this educational session. Welcome one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your warm welcome. So it's a pleasure to have our alumnus who is going to enrich the knowledge of his own juniors. So it's a pleasant time. Now I request our head Department of Computer Science, Dean for Student and Staff Welfare, Dr. J.J. Sathisilan sir, felicitate this function.
Esteemed Chief Guest of today's special workshop or the webinar was being thoughtfully arranged by the Department of Computer Science either stream, Dr. Nisman Rio, who is none other than illustrious alumnus of our college, who did his high studies here along with the research program in our department. It is our pleasure to have him today as a resource person who is readily willing to give a talk on features and job opportunities in MongoDB. At the outset, I would like to welcome all my colleagues and faculty members who are sitting next to me. Dr. Sophia Madam is here, and Dr. Kirubai, and Professor V. Bhuvaneshwari, also Professor C. Satish Kumar, all other student friends. I'm very happy today. This afternoon is going to be a very useful time for all of you, even for us. This is the time for us to go further beyond what we have studied in our curriculum. If you always move towards the next level, definitely we will win the race. And this MongoDB is one such topic which will definitely fetch you better job opportunities in the job market, especially in the corporate sector. I'm sure today, Dr. Nisman Rio will definitely give a wonderful talk on this upcoming topic. So without taking much time, I once again congratulate all my faculty members, Dr. Kirubai, Dr. Sophia Madam, Professor Bhuvaneshwari, and Satish Masar. All faculty members are making this session very useful and lively for the final year students, especially who are looking for better job opportunities. I'm sure MongoDB will definitely be the eye-opener session today for all of you. So listen carefully. As I used to say normally, computer science is evergreen course and ever-growing field. Therefore, keep in touch with the current topics like this and listen carefully. Make use of this session. With these few words, let me conclude my talk. Over to the resource person. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Nisman Rio, this is your floor. Students, there's no competition, the extra mile to do. So as the saying says, so when you take an extra step, this will be a useful one when you go and meet the interview. So I hope and I wish this session would be a very, very useful one. Those are going to take up the projects or those are planning for entrepreneurship. So this session will be a very, very useful one. I wish everything blessed one. over to Dr. Nasman Rio.
Audio இல்ல. Nasman audio வரல. Audio வரல.
Am I audible now? Audible, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your warm welcome and warm greetings at this moment. First of all, I would like to thank the Heban management. Personally, I would like to thank respected principal, Dr. Paul Dayabaran sir, and my special welcome and thanks for giving such wonderful opportunity to be connected with all of you at this moment. I thank Satyasilan sir and Sophia ma'am, Kirbai ma'am for having given me this wonderful opportunity to deliver a topic on MongoDB. Okay, I hope the students have also joined here. I could see that a minimum number of students have joined. I expected a lot of students will be joining for this meet. But however, with this moment, we will start our session. Maybe I think this particular session would give you more insightful session on this specific domain, MongoDB. As Satya Silan sir suggested, and he has pointed out very clearly, our computer science is evergreen in the field of communication and the field of technology. Okay, so as a computer science students, we need to be adapted with the upcoming technologies, and we need to learn a lot of things in this particular domain. In particular domain, whatever we are looking for our placement. Okay, I hope the students whoever joined here, as you all in final year, and many of you will be looking for your internship opportunities. I'm not sure about whether this particular MongoDB database you would have learned or you might have heard about this term at least. Okay, I hope this 1 hour session is going to give you more insightful session on this particular session about the MongoDB database. Okay, I hope the ultimate aim of this seminar session is arranged to give you more knowledge about the MongoDB database domain. And when you going for placement, and definitely this particular database concept will help you to give you a placement for you also. Even if you are in the plan to do your project, I think this particular database concept will help you to get good placement opportunity also in the upcoming days. Okay, so with this warm words, let's move on to the session. It's about the futures of MongoDB things. Okay, so I am planning to have this session in two ways. One is the first level. I'm just going to give you a brief introduction about why we need MongoDB database. We'll be discussing with some basic fundamental questions, and followed by we will discuss about what are all the job opportunities are available in the MongoDB database that we will discuss. Okay. So I want this session to be more effective one, and I request all the students to be more attentive because we will start with this. What is it? We will start this session with an activity. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Can I get some response from the students? Hello. If please use your chat, and you can give your response so that I'll be aware that you are responding. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so before that, I just wanted to know about the working principle of this MongoDB database. Okay, so I would like to start this session with an activity. So the students, those who have joined here, please go to this particular website. I will type the website in the chat. So please go to this particular website and give your response for this question. Okay, I just wanted to know the level of expertise in the particular database.
One second, give me a minute. I'm not sure. My device has been connected with my laptop. Let me check 1 second.
Sir, is my voice audible now? Can you please confirm it?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure where I have left my content. Okay, I will start with the things again. Okay, so
From the frequency.
yes, yes. Frequently asked the question. I was
Yes.
started with this question, right? So okay, so here you will get some more insights about the MongoDB. So without wasting the time, I'm just skipping this question. Okay, so you just try to put ask the questions yourself. Why should I learn MongoDB? Because since we are in the computer science field, we need to be very update about learning this kind of databases. Okay, and the next question is that is MongoDB better than other SQL parts? For example, in the curriculum aspect, we might be learning many databases concept. We will be using Oracle, MySQL, and to the in addition to that, we'll be using MariaDB. Those many things will be using related to relational database concept, right? So here the question is that is MongoDB better than SQL? Okay, so obviously it is not. Okay, so here we cannot classify it whether the MongoDB is better or relational database better. Okay, so here the thing is that MongoDB is one of the prominent database which is being used in the industry standard. Okay, so this particular database is being developed to handle large amount of data. Okay, which is very scalable, and also it is one of the important database which we are using in the industry standard. Okay, and the next question I would like to ask you, what is MongoDB good for? What is the reason we are using this MongoDB database? So basically this MongoDB database is being used to handle large amount of data, as well as it will be good for handling faster query processing. So whenever you store your information into the database, if you use the traditional database, it will take some time to fetch out the result. But here, since it is more scalable and uh, since it has more features, this particular MongoDB will be very much helpful for the developers to fetch out the records within the short span of time. Okay, so that's the reason we are using this MongoDB concept. So not only this MongoDB, because the MongoDB is considered to be one of the NoSQL database. That means it is not following any structure. But if you take relational database management, it follows some schema. It follows some structures to maintain your data in terms of tables and columns. But wherein the MongoDB concept, it doesn't follow any structure for this. That's why we call it as it is NoSQL database. That means not structured. Whatever the information you are collecting, it won't be in structured order. Okay, so that is the reason we are using this MongoDB in order to maintain the data such a way, whatever the data we are collecting in an unstructured order. Okay, so that is the reason we are using this. And if you ask the next question, whether this MongoDB database difficult to learn. Okay, so everything is difficult unless or until if you are not learning this, right? But for learning this particular MongoDB, there is no prior knowledge, but at least you should know some of the basic concepts. You have to know about some how to use the JavaScript query, and you have to know about some of the data types, and you need to follow some of the constraints to make use of this MongoDB application. Okay, so obviously, if you are not learning anything, then obviously the things will be very difficult to learn, right? And then the final question is MongoDB good to learn? Yes, obviously, I will talk about this particular MongoDB job opportunity in the second session. Okay, so obviously, this MongoDB database would give you more job opportunities in terms of database developer or database administrator if you pick up. Okay. Sorry for that. interruption. Some construction was going on. Sophia ma'am, may I confirm once again? Am I audible? I'm not sure about it.
Yes, you are audible,
You
Pa.
are audible.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next thing is about, I will give you the overview about the difference between the relational database management and MongoDB database. Okay, so first of all, I would like to give you some difference between why do we use RDBMS and why do we use MongoDB database. Okay, so here if you take the traditional RDBMS, we call it as a database, right? Even in the, if you take a MongoDB database, we call it as a database. So there is no unique difference at all. Okay, but here in the RDBMS, whatever the information and whatever the tables and whatever the information you are collecting, everything will be stored in the form of tables and columns. Okay, but wherein the MongoDB database, we call it as collection. Okay, so here in the RDBMS, we call it as tables and rows. But here, when you store your information in the MongoDB, we call it as a collection. Okay. Similarly, we will call it as a tuple and row. Whatever the information we are collecting, we will be storing in the form of rows and columns. Okay, but here, whatever the values that you are inserting into the particular document, it will be considered as a document. We call it as a document. Similarly, in the RDBMS, we call it as column, but in the MongoDB database, we call it as field. Okay, so it will be having several fields to get the inputs from the user side. Okay, so here in the RDBMS, we call it as a table join. If suppose if I want to merge all the tables us together, we'll be using several joining operations. So inner join, outer join, will be using it, right? But here in the MongoDB, everything you can merge it as together using this embedding document. So that's why it's been referred as embedding document. Okay, so here how to use primary concept here in the RDBMS as well as in the MongoDB. So here you use a primary key concept in order to identify the unique record which is stored in the database. Okay, in the similar way, the MongoDB also, we will be able to generate our own primary key in order to identify the uniqueness of the record. Okay, so these are the difference between the RDBMS and MongoDB concept. Okay, and here when you talk about when we discuss about this database server and the client. Okay, so once we install this particular software on our device, we have to start the server to execute, to invoke our functionality with the MongoDB server. So for which you are supposed to switch on this server using this keyword MongoD or Mongo. Okay, so but in the RDBMS concept, we will be connecting our database with Oracle or MySQL or SQL plus whatever we'll be using in the RDBMS concept, right? In the similar way, in the MongoDB, in order to work with the server to maintain our records, we need to start the server along with this keyboard using this MongoDB. Okay, so these are the just a general key points about the difference between RDBMS and MongoDB. Okay, so first we will see what is MongoDB, and followed by we will see what are the condition and what are the specification we should have to work with this MongoDB application. Okay, so the first thing is about what is MongoDB. So I very clearly I have pointed out in the beginning. So here the MongoDB is the one of the cross-platform. Okay, so we call it as document-oriented database. Okay, if you take relational database management, we call it as what is that? A structure-oriented database, right? We call it as a structure query language. Okay, so whatever the information we would like to store for the specific domain, we'll be using this word structure query language, right? But here in the MongoDB, it has been considered as NoSQL database because it does not follow any structure. That's why we call it as NoSQL database. Okay, basically it will be referred as a document-oriented database. Whatever the data you are going to store into your database, everything will be stored as a document structure which contains units of data. Okay, so there is no restriction to store your information. Okay, so it allows you to maintain large amount of data in the particular database. Okay, and then here you can create any number of databases. It is not a condition that you should create this many database only. Okay, as I said before, it is more scalable, which allows you to create any number of databases. Each database has its own collection, because in the MongoDB, we supposed to say it is a collection, not table or row, or not table or column like that. We should not tell it in the MongoDB. Okay. So whatever the database you are creating and whatever the values that you are inserting into the database, we call it as collection. So each and every database will be having its own collection. Okay. So here how this MongoDB is working usually. This particular MongoDB has been associated with MongoDB shell. Okay. So this MongoDB shell will be written using the JSON queries. Okay. So you know about the acronym for JSON. So this is about JavaScript object notation. Whatever the information we are trying to store inside the MongoDB database, everything will be in the JavaScript query. Using this JavaScript query, we'll be able to create the collection. This is about general introduction about MongoDB. And what do you mean by collection? Okay, so first I would like to give this definition about collection. What do you mean by collection? So here the collection is nothing but it's a group of MongoDB data, MongoDB documents. Okay, whatever the information you are giving as input, that will be considered as the collection. That will be considered as documents. Okay, so each and every document, once it is inserted, then it will become a collection. So here the collection is considered to be a table. Okay, so if I ask about your database, what is your name, database? You should say my collection name is student collection or employee collection, like this. But in the RDBMS, how we say it is, whenever we collect the information about students and student database and employee database, what we say, it is about the student database. It's about the employee database, like this. So in the similar way, whenever we collect some specific information about student, we call it as student collection or employee collection. Like that, we should say in the MongoDB aspect. Okay, it is very much similar to RDBMS, but whatever the conditions that we are following in the RDBMS, it's not going to be the same one. Okay, we will be following some constraints over here to make use of this MongoDB database. Clear? And here, this particular collection is considered as a table with a dynamic schema. So here the dynamic schema means since it is not following any structure, okay, because as a user, as a developer, whenever we are trying to store some information, everything is not in the proper order, which collects the unstructured data. Okay, so that's why it has been considered as a dynamic schema. Okay, so schema means you know that it's giving the blueprint of the particular domain or particular database. Okay, so here it has been considered as a dynamic schema since it is storing the information in the unstructured way. Yes. Okay, so here the collection has been classified into two types. One is a row and a table. Okay, so when you save your table name, you should say it is a collection. Okay, so here the row has been considered as a document. Whatever the inputs values that you are giving inside the collection, that will be considered to be as a document. Okay, so that's why it's been mentioned as row and table. Okay, and then what do you mean by document? So here, when you give your input values inside the document, you should have the set of key value pairs. We call it as key value pair. If you take a RDBMS concept, okay, when you try to store your information, you will be having a table name, and followed by you will be creating several attributes which are related to the particular table. Okay, so here in the similar way in the MongoDB, whenever we are creating some values for this, we should have this pair values, key value pair. Okay, so whenever you are inserting the key value pair, it will have some special key value. So that will be considered as the primary key. Okay, so based on this primary key, we'll be able to identify the uniqueness of the record. Okay, I'll show you the syntax for this also in the MongoDB console so that you will get some understand about this. Okay, so here, whenever you're giving some values, it should have some key values. Otherwise, the documents will not be stored in the database. Okay, for example, whether it may be a single key value or multiple key value pair. Okay, so whatever the values you are giving on the left hand side, that will be considered as the key value. Okay, so whatever the values you are giving at right hand side of the key value, that will be considered as the values. So that's why we call it as a key value pair. For example, you take this example. Here I have given my name as well as my age over here. Okay, so in case if I am giving my name alone, this will be considered as a single key attribute. So likewise, if you are adding multiple attributes which you like to store in the database, that will be considered the multiple key value pair. Okay, so here you cannot create a document without having this key value. Okay, so you should use some key and along with this some attribute. So but you can create a document without having this attribute. That means the value without having the values, you can create a database. But without having the key, you cannot create a document. So this is the constraint we should follow while we creating the document. Also, here I have mentioned it very clearly. The key, whatever the key that you are creating for the particular thing, it should not be a null value. Okay, you know that null means nothing in the database, right? So whenever you are creating the key value, you have to give some input values over there. Otherwise, the MongoDB things will not be working fine. Okay, it will show you an error when you are trying to execute the particular document, or when you are whenever you try to fetch out the record, it won't execute the things in the MongoDB shell. Okay, so this is about the document. Okay, also this MongoDB follows some conditions. So whenever you are giving the input values, it follows some condition in terms of type sensitive and case sensitive. Okay, so mistakenly, if you have given the letters with the lowercase or uppercase, okay, whatever the values you are given, so based on this only the things will be working. Otherwise, the things won't work. For example, you consider this age value. Okay, so if you in the one particular document, if you are given all the letters are small, then obviously in the upcoming collection also you should use the same input values. Otherwise, it won't work. For example, if you are giving ages capital letters in the upcoming document also, you should use the same procedure. Okay. Otherwise, the MongoDB server will not be invoked for executing your program. And similarly, here the MongoDB cannot contain duplicate keys. Obviously, it's similar to our RDBMS, right? So in order to avoid the duplication in the records, we'll be using this kind of concept to avoid this primary key concept like this, right? So here we will not say it is a primary key. Generally, we will say it is a ID. Okay, so based on the ID, we will be able to identify the uniqueness of the particular record. Okay, so here whatever the information have been stored in the MongoDB database, we call it as key value pair, as I mentioned in the beginning. Okay, because whatever the data we are collecting from the different domain, it's not going to be in the ordered way, or it's not going to be in the ordered way. Okay, maybe whatever the information we are collecting and whatever the information we would like to manage, everything will be in the unordered. Okay, so I don't want to go into much detail about order and unordered. Just for understanding purpose, I'm giving this point. Okay, and then what are the naming convention we should follow? Okay, so we here, in order to work with this MongoDB shell, we need to go with this particular thing, naming convention. Okay, so because each and every collection will be identified its name. Okay, so whenever you create your own collection, you will be giving a unique name for this in order to identify this easily. For example, if you are collecting the details about student database or student, employee collection, you will be giving the unique name for each. Okay, so based on which we'll be able to identify the collection very easily. Okay, and here whenever you are giving the key value, uh, for example, if you are using the double quotes, whatever the input value we are giving in the MongoDB database, we supposed to use this double quotes, whatever the string value you are giving. Okay. So here, if you are giving the empty string, that won't be considered a valid collection name. Okay. So it won't allow also in the MongoDB database. Okay. Similarly, here the collection names may not contain the null character. Whenever you are giving your key value pair, always the key should be given with some names. Otherwise, the MongoDB will pop up an error in the window. Okay. And similarly, it won't allow the user to use this kind of words, system.user, system.namespaces like this. Okay. But the MongoDB allows the users to create their own collection. Okay, but this particular MongoDB shell won't allow the user to use such words like system.user, system.namespace like this. Okay, so these are the some condition we should follow, and these are the some salient features of this MongoDB also. Okay, so here I just want to give you some information about what are the data types are available with respect to MongoDB database. Basically, this MongoDB database is written in the form of JSON queries using JavaScript object notation. So it has come up with 6 data types. One is about null, boolean, numeric, string, array, and object. Okay. So here you can use the null values also, as we use in the traditional RDBMS concept. Okay. So whenever you are giving the value here, see in this example you can see. Here I have mentioned my key value name as X, but here I have given my value as null. Okay, so here also, even if you are giving the input like this MongoDB will accept this. In order to work with this MongoDB shell, it accepts the null value also. And similarly, you can use the Boolean data type. Okay, here we use the Boolean data type in order to find out whether my created collection is present in the database or not. If it is found in the database, it will give you the result as true. Otherwise, it will give you the result as false. So it will be matching with the database. So this kind of data types also we can use with the MongoDB. And similarly for the number, if you use the single digit number, you can go for this particular data type number. If your number is too long, for example, if you want to make use of decimal digits, you can go for this type number long data type. Like this, you can use this data type values. Okay, and similarly here you can use the string value, string data type. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, whenever you are specifying your key value pair, it should be given in the double quotes. So in case if you are not giving the string values in the double quotes, then it will give you an error in the MongoDB shell. Okay, similarly you can use the date data type as well as a regular expression. Okay, so if suppose if you want to fetch out the specific information, the whose letter starts with I. Okay, if the character starts with I letter, if you want to fetch out all the similar letters, whatever the letter starts with I, then you can use this type of regular expression concept. Okay, here you can use the array concept also in the MongoDB concept. Okay, if I want to push multiple values into the MongoDB cell, I should use this array concept in order to maintain my records in an effective way. We can use this. And similarly here, it is giving the unique feature of using this object ID. Okay, so basically, whenever you are trying to store your information in the MongoDB database, it will be generating the automatic object ID, which consists of 12 digits codes, 12 digit bytes. Okay, for example, the first 4 digit, it is giving you the information about the timestamp, when the particular collection is being created, and when it is being developed by the users. So those, that kind of information will be available in the first 4 byte, and the remaining 3 byte code will be useful to identify the machine code. Okay, since I'm using the Mac user, then it will be identifying what kind of machine I'm using this. Okay, and the remaining 2 byte code, it is giving the information about the process ID. Okay, similarly, the last 3 digit code, uh, it is used for counting your information. That means it will be used to count the number of object ID creation. For example, if I am generating 5, 10 like this, so each and time whenever I am trying to insert a new record, automatically the things will be, the object ID will be getting incremented. That is the use of this object ID. Okay. So if you want to make use of any functions in the code, also you can use this function ID. So these are the general data types which we are using in the MongoDB database. So I'm just giving you the common data types. Apart from this, there are many data types which we could use in the MongoDB. Okay, so this is about the embedded document. If suppose if I'm creating my own collection, okay, so in the one particular collection, I can have multiple documents. Okay, for example, you see in this particular example, I'm giving my name, address, the street, city where I'm residing, and which state I belong to. All this information I have given over here. Okay, so like this, I can collect my document as together in one single shot. So this is how the embedded document is also working. Okay, so here whatever the values I'm giving on the left hand side, it will be considered as the key. And similarly, whatever the values I'm giving here at the right hand side after my key, it will be considered as the values. Okay, so this is the difference between these things. Okay, so the next thing, I will show you the installation steps. So many of you are in the final year. I think it will be a good start for you to learn about the MongoDB things. Okay, I will share this link with all of you. Maybe if you are, whenever you are free, you please go to this MongoDB community and you can download this software. Actually, there are plenty number of versions are available. Okay, so you maybe I will show you that. Okay, one second. Hope you can see this website, right? This is a MongoDB community website where you can download your software also. Okay, so now this MongoDB is being connected with cloud service also. Okay, so Atlas is one of the cloud service provider where you can get this service. Once you choose on your package, then you will be
So am I audible now? I'm not sure what is the issue is happening. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so once you install this particular device, I mean this particular software on your device, then it will ask you to create a collection. So in order to create a collection, you are supposed to use this keyword use. Okay, so followed by you can give any name here. For example, I'm giving the collection name as DHC. Okay. Once you created this, then it will be redirected to your database. So it will give you the information, it will give you the message that you have been switched to the DHC folder. That means you have created the collection. Okay. So now I want to insert some values over there. I want to create my document under this particular collection. Okay. So for which you need to use this keyword. So this is the way you will be following to insert your values. So db dot, you have to mention your database name. That means a collection name. And followed by, if you want to insert the values, you have to use this keyword along with this brackets. Okay. So here I'm just mentioning the key value path. So as I mentioned earlier, here for this example, I am giving the name as my key value. Okay, so without this value, we cannot create the collection. Here, the left hand side, whatever the values I'm giving, it will be considered as the key values. Okay, so here I'm just giving the input value here as my name. Okay, and then I'm adding multiple key value using this. Okay, so once you've given your key value path, then it will show you the result. The document has been created. So it will show you the message like this. You have written one particular result, so that it will show you the result as 1. Okay. Similarly, if you want to create this particular collection along with the ID creation, you can use this word ID. So I'm trying to customize my primary key using this ID word. Okay, so once you created this, then it will show you the result as the value has been inserted. Again, if suppose the same user is trying to create a duplicate record with the same ID, then it will give you the error like this, because I have inserted already one record with the same ID name like this. So otherwise, I should change the primary key number over here. If you want to store the same name with the same information, then the value will be inserted. Okay. If suppose if you want to see all the information, whatever the information that you have written in the MongoDB, you have to use this condition db dot bhc dot find. So these are the command we should use to see whatever the information we have stored in the MongoDB database. Can you see this one screen? Right. So this is how we are storing our information, and we are retrieving our information from the MongoDB database. So it is not very much difficult to learn all these things, because the only thing is that we need to follow the syntax for using this MongoDB database. So we must, as a beginner, we must know what are the data types are available and how to use this primary key concept and how to generate the object ID on that. Okay, so here in the screen you can see object ID creation. So here the following 2 records I have inserted my own ID. That means I have created my own ID using this ID1 and ID2. But here, whenever I am creating my new collection, here I haven't used anything. So by default, it is generating the object ID. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it will be consisting of 12-digit byte codes. Okay, so like that you can see. Okay, and similarly, if you want to drop the particular collection which you created, you can use this condition db.drop using this. Okay, so if it is true, what it represents actually, your collection has been created earlier, so now it has been removed. So that's why the Boolean value is showing as true. Otherwise, if you try to drop the same collection, then it will give you the result as false. So this is how the Boolean data type is working here. Okay. Maybe whenever you are free, you can download that particular software. You can work with this MongoDB shell. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is about yeah. What are the job opportunities are available in this MongoDB database? Okay. So this will be the question. What is the need for learning this type of database? Okay. So here, I just wanted to tell about the job opportunities with regard to this MongoDB. Okay. Because many of us are familiar with traditional database management system. So maybe we'll be using MariaDB, we'll be using PostgreSQL. Okay, so likewise, we'll be using different types of databases here. Okay. So here, once you learn about this MongoDB database, there are plenty number of job opportunities are available, such as you can become a database administrator. Okay. So here the database administrator, which does not require any programming language. Even you no need to learn about database concept and all. Okay. So basically, the database administrator who manages all your data in an effective way, for which they'll be using some specific tools. Okay, so they're using the specific tool, they will be able to manage our data effectively, okay, within the shorter span of time. Okay, so for which we need to learn about some of the data-based tools for this. So by learning this also, you can become a database administrator. Okay, so almost all the job opportunities are related to this only. For example, if you talk about the database administrator, it's somewhat related to database engineer also. So what basically the database engineer will do, whatever the information they are collecting from the different domain, they will be analyzing it and they will be validating the information. Okay, so for example, once you become the MongoDB database developer, okay, so you'll be receiving a lot of information. You will be receiving bulk of information to be processed. Okay, so as a database engineer and database administrator, you have to validate the data, whatever the data that you have collected, whether it is valid or invalid. So everything you have to analyze it very meticulously and very clearly. Okay, I will show you about the what is the salary of being a database administrator and database engineer. Okay, you'll be wondered to see the seeing the salary of a database administrator job. Okay, and similarly, you can become a database developer after learning this MongoDB things. Okay, so here, if you become a database developer, then there is a huge amount of salary will be given for you. Okay, so you'll be hired with a good salary amount when you become database developer. Here in the database developer, you can develop your own collections. You can develop your own documents. Okay, so you will be adding some of the extensions with respect to the MongoDB shell. Okay, also you can become a database analyst also. Okay, so here what is basically the database analyst will do that whatever the information they have collected from the domain, they will be analyzing it, analyzing the information, whether it's structured or unstructured, and they will be going for some validation using some tools also. Okay, it is very similar to the database administrator. Okay, also you can customize your own database. You can modify the database as per the needs. So as a database analyst, we need to identify what are the things are required for the business improvements. Okay, so this is the one of the very good job opportunities for becoming the database analyst. Okay, and similarly, you can become the database architect also. Okay, so here the database architect will decide and validate the database, whatever the designs that we are creating in each and every phase. For example, if you become the database architect, you will be designing the conceptual level. Okay, so you need to mention about what are the things should be there in the conceptual level database, and you should mention about what are the things should be there in the logical level database. So likewise, we'll be creating different level of databases design. So each and every phase of database design will be having unique features to be added with this. Okay, so these are the some of the job opportunities are available once you learn about the MongoDB things. Okay, so not only the MongoDB, but here the MongoDB, once you learn about the MongoDB, the difference is that you will be hired with a good salary package. Okay, so these are the some of the job opportunities, and you just see what are all the companies are providing this kind of job opportunities, because this particular MongoDB is being widely used with different cloud service providers also. If you take Amazon, if you take Google, if you take IBM company also, they have adopted this particular databases. Okay, so once you become the MongoDB developer, if you join a TCS company, you'll be hired with this 7 lakhs per annum. Similarly, if you join the Oracle developer, just commonly I'm telling, even in the Wipro company is recruiting this kind of MongoDB developers also. Okay, so you just see the salary package for the developer who becomes a MongoDB developer. So they'll be hired with 6 lakhs per annum. Okay, similarly, the CTS, Cognizant Technology Solution, they are giving a good amount of salary package for the MongoDB developer. Okay, maybe the salary adjustment will be there when comparing with the traditional developer, the traditional database developer as well as the MongoDB developer. Okay, the CTC will be changing slightly. Okay, so in case if you join in the IBM, okay, so basically they'll be giving the salary as 6 lakhs per annum. Okay, so somewhat it closer to the salary package, but here the TCS is giving the more salary package once you become the database administrator. Okay, similarly, when based on your job role, your salary will be adjusted. Okay, the highest level of role is here is about the database architect. When you become the database architect, you will be considered the principal architect. Okay, so you will be validating all the requirements of the particular database design, whether it is a traditional database or whether it is a MongoDB database, whatever it may be. Okay, so here I think it will be a good start as a beginner. You can give your maximum effort to learn this new software. The new database developer. It's about the MongoDB. Okay. Similarly, you try to explore a lot of things in the industry standards, whatever the database are being used in the industry perspective. Not only the MongoDB, if you take Hive database, HBase database, Redis database, likewise, there are many NoSQL databases are available. Okay. So for which you have to spend some time to learn all these things very clearly. Okay, even in India, if you take the country India, here there are very less number of people who work as MongoDB developer. Okay, I think this time will be a good start for you to learn about this MongoDB, and you will be able to achieve a lot of things, and you will be hired with a good salary package. Okay, so finally, I would like to continue. I would like to conclude this session with a quote, right? So, as a human, as a student, you will be having many desire to achieve. Okay, so it is not adequate thing if you have only the desire. If you have only the desire, then it won't change anything. It changes nothing. Okay, but when you have dynamic decision, it somewhat will change your idea, or it will change your career path. Okay, it will change something. Okay, but when you have determination and dedication, it will change everything. Whatever you have set in your mind to become a developer or someone, whatever it may be. Okay, so with this warm words and with this things, I would like to conclude my session. And once again, I thank the management, and I thank all the faculty members of Computer Science Aided Department for having given me this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge in this particular domain. Okay. Thank you so much for your patient listening for the last 1 hour. I hope this session would give you some insightful things to learn about the MongoDB. In case if you want to know about more things about this MongoDB itself, so please send me an mail or you can contact me over the phone call also. Okay, so once again, thank you so much and thanks for the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Nesman. It was a very wonderful session, an eye-opener. It's a master class for students. Dear students, if you have any clarification and doubts, you can ask the resource person, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
If you have any queries, you can ask me so that I'll be here for some time to address all your queries.
You can put it in the chat, dear students.
Since you are all final year students, I think this will be little difficult for you to learn about this MongoDB. Okay, so but when you try to explore a lot of things, then these things will become easy for you people. Okay, so you try to implement a project along with this MongoDB database instead of using the traditional database, so that you will be getting good knowledge about using this particular database. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience caused. Meanwhile, I'm not sure whether I have connected with my device or not properly. So I think there was some issue with my Bluetooth device. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
It was really a wonderful session. So students, now they are doing their final year projects. So hope many of the students will opt for MongoDB and they know the how the future plan. So you have given a very excellent view of how you can connect, how students can download and install, and then how they can take up. So really it is a very useful session. Students from your side, you can interact, you can ask any queries or anything, and then you can give your feedbacks also.
Students, you can ask your questions.
I think there won't be any questions. It seems, ma'am.
I have a question, this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how to learn this? Is there any specific code to learn this MongoDB?
Is there any specific
Code. You had some code on the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, as I mentioned earlier, it is not very much difficult to learn. But for this, for learning this MongoDB things, we should have adequate knowledge about the JavaScript queries. So only that thing we need to learn. Okay, maybe the simple keyword we can use for storing and retrieving our database things, whatever the information we are storing. For example, if you want to insert a particular record, you can use the db dot the file name dot insert along with the key value pair. So in the beginning of the session itself, I have told you, no, ma'am. Whenever you are like to store some information, it should be given with a key value pair. So along with this, we can store and retrieve our database very easily and effectively.
Thank you.
Nesman, I'm very happy that we have taken this topic at the right time for the right people.
Yes, sir.
The final year students are now will be thinking about their career future. So this would be a right topic for them to think about their future career opportunities. And what I feel now after listening to your talk, this MongoDB is mainly suitable for big data analytics, right?
Yes, sir. For handling a large amount of data, this particular MongoDB would be more suitable software for this type of application, especially for big data. Even if when you are collecting the information in unstructured also, this particular things will be very useful for.
Yeah, you said two things. One is unstructured data, it doesn't have any structure. The second
Yes,
part
yes.
is that it is highly scalable. That
Yes,
is
sir.
where, we are really in a idea of using this, right? To handle
yes.
big data, which is very voluminous, which is very difficult to manage and to put the data, right? Data at the right time. And so MongoDB will help in that aspect, right? And I hope that this would be helpful for the researchers who are going to do research activities in big data analytics. Probably this will help them to think about this, maybe. But there are a lot of other tools, but this would also add some flavor to those who are doing research in this area.
Yes,
Probably
even there are many SQL softwares also there, like MongoDB. You might have heard about HBase, Hive, Redis also there. There are many things out there, sir, but this particular MongoDB is one of the widely used software in the industry aspect. Even if the students are started to explore their knowledge in the MongoDB, they are having very good job opportunities in and around Bangalore. Because now in the Bangalore, many of the startup companies have recruited the MongoDB developer to work with this.
wonderful.
I think it will be good for them also in case they start to learn about this.
Yeah, and you rightly pointed out there are companies, leading companies who are going to hire people if they are
Yes,
really good in MongoDB, right? With high pay, good salary. That's a very interesting and promising thing for our students. But from the student side, I expect more questions or clarifications or queries. The students unmute and talk to the resource person. He is with us. He is one of us, and he is a old student of our college. Maybe you are super senior. Probably you can open your discussion. Maybe you can have any question related to job or technology or the project that you are going to do in this maybe next semester. Feel free to talk. No problem. Any question is welcome from your side. Okay. Any question? Yeah. Maybe
How to learn MongoDB? Any specific platform in which the students can learn this one?
Any platform you are asking, ma'am?
Yeah, to learn MongoDB. For the student.
Yes, ma'am. There are many websites also to learn about this MongoDB. Even they can go for some tutorial points website to learn about this MongoDB. Even step by step process would be given over there. How to install these things, how to work with the basic things. I think even they can enrich their knowledge from the intermediate level to higher level of expertise also. Even these things, as Satyasilan sir pointed out, even they have given very clear understanding about that, how this MongoDB software can be used for research purpose also. So some advanced concept also available in the web resources. If they search about the MongoDB things, how these things can be deployed for research, that they will get it, ma'am. So
Now,
there are, yeah.
for our final year students, they must know how to create a database first of all, how to create a table.
Yeah, so this is what I got shown in the demonstration also, right? So once they have installed with this software, we supposed to create a collection first.
Collection.
The collection, yeah, the collection can be anything, right? For example, if I'm collecting the information about student database or employee database, I should give the relevant collection name for this. Okay, followed by I should give the key value pair. So based on which we'll be able to create the collection as well as we can create the document. Even when if we want to see all the information in one particular collection, we can bring out us together into the one particular collection using the collection name. Okay, for example, if I'm collecting the database for student, if I want to see the information whichever I have created for the employee database, I can bring it together in one particular collection. So this is one of the advantage of using this MongoDB database.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Students, you can come up with more questions. You're the one to do the project.
Students, those are developing mobile application or web application.
yes.
Anything with large data, you can prefer MongoDB rather than the traditional databases. you can prefer MongoDB. So that's why this session was exclusively arranged. And sir, the resource person, he has given you all the instructions. Probably we have been live in YouTube channel, Fever Hub, our department channel. So students, you can also watch. So hope you will be watching that. Right. So thank you very much, Dr. Nisman, for your patience and your preparation and the eagerness you have delivered to the students with all the
Yes, ma'am.
needed information for the starters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for accepting our invitation in a very short duration, and you have given a very excellent talk. Thank you so much.
Very kind of you, Desmond. God bless you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kevin ma'am, Satyasilan sir, and Sophia ma'am, for the opportunity once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.